about 7 days, 10-hour days on the river, um, fishing in a 16-foot John boat with you and a buddy of yours and a guide that speaks no English. So, you know, and we was at 0 degrees on the equator. So
Ooh.
I don't know exactly what that means, except that it was hot and that sun was just brutal. And of course, them guys down there, they don't think nothing about it. But as gringos, we all probably all struggled with it. Um, but yeah, it was a long, hard trip, but it was, and all we brought back was some pictures and memories, and I still say it was well worth it.
Amen. Amen.
I just, of course, I don't know. I'm sure maybe somebody, I never do this, but for some reason I decided the first day that I was going to make a post every day because we had Starlink uh, at our camp. So we get back at camp at night and could get caught up on emails and, and stuff, texts and stuff. So I said, you know what, I'm going to post this something every day. And I'd never done that before, so I didn't know how that would go. But man, I had so much response from that.
Oh yeah.
Even when I got back, I had drivers come into my office, shake my hand, saying thank you. And I like one of them in particular, he come in here and he said thank you. And I said, for what? I send you a Christmas bonus or something. He's like, no. He said, I know I'll never go down there and do that. He said, and
yeah.
He said, and I was living that dream, watching your post every day. He said we was waiting for, me and my wife, and I thought, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool, David. You and Teddy Roosevelt have now conquered the Amazon.
Oh, Teddy, yeah, I always wanted to be like Teddy in that regard. That was one
and
of
Brad
the
Martin. Maybe you next.
That was one of them. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah. Good
That's
stuff.
Bigger than your fish,
well, thank you, Bradley Martin.
That's bigger than your fish was in Ireland, Stephen.
Oh, stop it. If David weren't my special guest, I might take issue with that, but you're probably right. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to our OSOW Roundtable, week 2. Last week, we had the pleasure of visiting with Troy Malecki, the new head of permits for Texas. That was certainly enlightening for us all. And this week, another special guest, legend from our industry, a man I've always greatly admired, Mr. David Lowry, CEO of Bennett Motor Express. Welcome, Mr. David. Thank you, sir.
Well, appreciate it, Steven. Actually, I knew you was doing this, but I'd never gotten on here before. I always missed it for some reason.
You're a busy man. You're a busy man.
I know you've had Mr. Dewberry on here numerous times, huh?
We're about to. I'll get to that here in just a second. What we like to do, David, and I'd like for you to participate on any of these that you want before we start with your interrogation. I mean, your formal questions. We run through a couple of news notes that we've gathered over the last week. Some real, some just having a little fun. But I tell you, I am from the Big Ten country, and I've heard so much smack from you SEC people, and rightfully so over the years. And this might be my first and last chance to rub it back in a little bit. Take that, SEC guys. 3 in a row. 3 in a row for us.
I know every world finds a nut.
Well, and I can't say all 3 Big Ten teams did it legally and ethically either. That's a story for another day. But speaking of your chaplain, David, we do an optional Bible study for those that can stick around every week when we finish the roundtable. And our good friend Bryce Baker started a new series, Choose Wisely. Kind of ironic for Bryce Baker and the words choose wisely to be in the same Bible study, but it'll be interesting. It'll be a learning experience for all of us, won't it, Bryce? But David, you mentioned John Dewberry. Thanks for connecting me with him. Boy, he is something else. I really enjoyed my time chatting with him. And yes, beginning the first month of February. Sorry, Bryce, I forgot to clue you in on this. John's going to join us and give you a week off, Bryce, the first week in February. And John, as David knows, does a little devotional for the entire Bennett family of companies. And he just so happens to do them on Wednesdays. And he does it like literally a half hour before our show. So John has agreed graciously to do one for us the first week of February. And if he likes us, he may come back on a monthly basis. So thank you, David. Why don't we start there, David? How important is it to you and Miss Marcy and the whole Bennett family of companies to have a spiritual aspect to your operation?
It's one of our core values. So, and with John, it's just natural with him because, I mean, he's a great pastor and really down to earth guy, can really relate. But he, we went to school together, so we've been knowing each other for forever. And man, I think about it now, and it is about forever. We're getting up there. Anyway, I don't want to digress on that, but John is here. I'd encourage anybody to have, if they don't have uh, a way or someone that can be available for their drivers or their employees, to think hard about that, because he he is available for 24/7 for anybody in our organization's needs. And an organization has grown over the years to, man, I don't know, I'd say probably over, count everybody, drivers, employees, agents, everybody, probably close to 6,000 people. And John is available to them at any time, and they utilize him. So it could be anything, from consulting on, a death or a sickness, or just having somebody to talk to, right? And he also does that for the Atlanta Speedway, Echo Park, and
Yep.
he's their pastor, and he runs his own ministry, and has some decent barbecue. I can't, I always tell him, I can get better down here across the street, but in reality, he does a really good job with his barbecue. But it's a very important thing that he's also does a stint every morning with Dave Nemo on the Dave Nemo show. If anybody listens,
Ooh,
to
what
Dave
time,
Nemo.
David? About
Man,
what time?
I want to say that's, I don't know exactly what time he comes on. Probably have to ask him that. But
I'll
Dave
ask him.
Nemo's
Yeah,
like from
yeah.
7 to 11 or something like that.
Right. Wow,
So,
that's fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
I just asked him for 5 minutes a couple months ago when you gave me his number, and it turned into a 45-minute conversation. God bless him. And I was blessed by it. You guys will all find out if you tune in the first roundtable in February. This is a special man, and we'll all be blessed by him. So thank you, David. So again, David, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we're just going to run through some news notes real quick, and I invite you to comment on any you want, or choose to or not to. You might want to comment on this first character real quick. So I failed to do this last week, our buddy Ray Morgan. Ray David is pretty much the founder and inspiration of our roundtable, going back about 7 years ago, and quite a milestone for our friend Ray. 8 years cancer-free. God bless you, Ray. And that
Thank
is
you.
wonderful, and we celebrate with you, my friend.
And that cheesecake was lip smacking good too, buddy. I tell you.
And
You
you thanked
save
the
any?
right guy there.
You save
No, he
any for the
didn't
rest
say.
of us?
No. I had my bride with me, and she ate the other half.
And the good news,
Tell Kay we
Ray,
said
is
hi.
after all these years, yeah, the good news, Ray, is after all these years, you got an appetite again.
That's
You probably could
right.
eat that whole thing. Yeah.
That's exactly
All right.
right. Yeah, there was that gumbo was good too. Let me tell you, that was Papado's. That was one of my favorite restaurants.
And also, David, our roundtable are huge supporters, as you might imagine, of the SCNRA, as I know you are as well. And so leading up to the symposium, we always try to spotlight and encourage everybody to get their registration in. And today we just wanted to spotlight this session because I saw a representative from your company, Allison Hughes, Contractor Relations Manager for Bennett Family of Companies, talking about human marketing in a digital world. You probably taught her everything she knows about that topic, huh, David?
No,
I'll come
not
get
really.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to mute.
Yeah, she's pretty sharp
Megan?
gal though.
John or
Yeah.
Danny, can you mute them for me? Somebody? Thanks. But anyway, yeah, she's got a session on beating the algorithm. We'll find out what that's all about. And also kudos to you guys. You guys have always been great sponsors of SCNRA over the years. I'll talk more with you later about your SCNRA involvement. Some sad news to pass along. I'm sure there's sadly probably been more than one, but since I've been around, this is the second known actually there have been a couple of others, but the second known incident that I was aware of in which sadly a bridge hit allegedly resulted in a fatality. You remember the one in Ohio a few years ago where the gentleman unwisely chose to run without a permit, instead depended on his Garmin navigation device or whatever, which supposedly would call out bridge clearances for him, and he ended up getting charged and I think convicted of vehicular homicide. Here's another such incident. But I guess my question for you, David, if you care to comment, just bridge hits in general. Boy, such a topic for all of our industry to grapple with, and there's really no carrier that's never been through a couple of bridge hits, right? But what's Bennett's philosophy with regards to doing everything under the power to try to avoid having too many of those bridge hits and bridge scrapes?
Well, I can tell you this, it don't seem like we've ever found the magic bullet because there's I ain't say we definitely don't have one every day, but there's they come and it's usually from someone getting off route. If it's a big hit, right? I mean, they got off route and they either didn't realize or they was trying to figure it out on their own how to get back on route instead of just stopping and saying, "Hey, I need help. Help me get back." And then let some operations people or some permit team try to help get back on route or call the local enforcement and let them help. I'd rather take the embarrassment than the hit. But we we have H ratings, we call them. So we classify our drivers by different H ratings, starting with H1s to all the way to SL, super load guys. And uh and that all comes to get these ratings up comes with a lot of training and um we I don't know, we go through a lot to get guys. We try to get their ratings up, um but we have a process to be able to do that, and a lot of that is just training and coaching and how to deal with situations like you get off route or read your darn permit. um a lot of our high poles, at least ours that we run duals, and that way if something, one of them slips or something, we've got a backup. So it's little things like that. We just try to prevent, and I'm sure there's more, you know.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll say about it, it ain't all just big loads. Actually, the big loads are the safer loads, as far as
Absolutely.
I'm concerned. You know, bridge hits, uh, bridge hits that I see mostly will come from a guy with a step deck, and he's 14 foot high. All right. And probably didn't measure and, got himself in trouble.
This is all anecdotal, David, because as Danny Wells found out when he did some consulting for SCNRA a few years ago, many states still really don't collect bridge hit data. And this is disputed by some, but I'm of the opinion, as Danny is from his research, that at least a slight majority of all bridge hits in the United States are caused by loads that were legal or less than legal height, or were supposed to have been less than legal height. You follow me?
Yeah.
So I'm spot on with you but it's our industry, right? Your industry that takes the heat when there are bridge hits. Everybody points to the big guy, the big bully on the block, which is us, sadly. You had something to say, Gino? You posted.
I had a question for Dave. So your training program that you basically go from an H1 to a super load, is that like recommended to a driver that you want to keep? Is it volunteer? Is it encouraged that they, hey, move up, step up? And then when they go through that training, are they paid for like in-house training like they would be out on the road? Do you compensate them some way for that training?
I mean, our guys, are owner operators primarily, so their compensation comes with hauling the bigger, the higher value, or better paying loads. And normally as their H rating goes up, that's what happens. So that's the encouragement for them to get that H rating up. And we'll have a guy would kind of like Mother Goose him, I guess I would say, for 5 to 8 loads, and if all that's successful, and their permits, or they're following their directions on their permits and stuff, they have to go through that before we'll upgrade them to that next level. So we have a lot of H1s, we have a lot of H2s, a lot of H3s, but whenever it starts getting into H4s and SLs, a lot of guys just don't want to take that extra steps that we make them go through.
David,
If
do
they
you have
don't
a
already
do you have
have
a
it.
document we can kind of take a peek at, or you would share? I don't know if you guys would share that or not, but because it sounds like it might be internal. But I'll tell you what, it's very, very interesting to see how you're categorizing these guys.
Probably do have a document on it that I'd have to go out and dig. I mean, I put that thing together, God, I don't even know, 15 years ago. So I'd have to
That's
look.
okay.
I'd have to look. I'm sure. I mean, I know we're documented because it's part of ISO
Yeah,
stuff.
mate.
I'm gonna need another follow-up.
Thank you, sir.
Danny or John, if you could mute somebody else there. Thanks. Thank you, Gino, for your question.
Well,
Hey, good seeing you,
So
Gino.
David, yeah. So David, regulars
Hey,
on the
David.
roundtable. No, I'm sorry.
I want David to take a look right up here on my shelf. Got a little souvenir
All
up
right.
there.
What you got?
Turn your camera.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah. Well,
Does that look familiar?
I'm glad you didn't let the grandkids play with that, because there wouldn't be
No,
nothing
no,
left
no,
of
no,
it.
no, no. Nope.
Yeah,
David and his company have handed out a lot of those over the years. So
I built that.
again,
Oh,
what I have.
a lot. I felt special a minute ago.
No, I had. What are you saying, Steve?
You are.
I've only give one away, and it was to Gino.
Okay. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
special, Gino, just in a different way. So what I have on the screen here, regulars of the roundtable, David, know that I'm passionate about these. I can barely call them attorneys, these truck accident ambulance chasing attorneys. And what I've shared with folks, David, in recent years is we kind of flew under the radar for many years. They just went after the regular trucks out there. But in recent years, they've gotten really keen on their marketing towards potential clients and alleged victims for our industry. And here's a sickening example of this. You know how politicians, when there's a tragedy, you know, they go out and fundraise and it's just despicable. Well, these attorneys do the same thing. This attorney firm out of California, the blood probably hadn't even dried yet from the poor guy's fatality, and they're using, you know, the headline from this story to go out and market to potential victims. And they go through the whole rigmarole here and how common are overpass strikes. They quote Danny Wells 14,500 a year. I kind of thought that was a little high, but you can comment on that if you would. Then they educate the public a little bit on oversized, overheight loads. Who can be held liable? They actually left a few out. Most attorney firms go after everybody, but they've got the driver, the trucking company, the dispatcher. We got a lot of dispatchers that join this call. Construction, roadway stakeholders. They left out software vendors. They left out state governments. They left out pilot cars. But these bloodthirsty folks, David, they're something else, aren't they?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, yeah. And we're recording this call, David, so I'm not trying to lure you into making any comments or anything of that nature. But yeah, it's sad and it's sickening. I had a picture. Oh, yeah, I was going to show this picture first. This is how I liken these truck accident attorneys as vultures going after the prey and such. But anyway, for better or for worse, our industry, David, I want to see if you agree with this. And if you disagree with me, that's okay. I kind of felt like when I first got into the industry in Illinois, and then even right at SCNRA, the oversized, overweight, specialized part of trucking kind of flew under the radar in many ways. But it seems to me in the last 5-10 years, David, have you seen it as well, that good or bad, there seems to be a bigger spotlight on our industry just in the last decade or so? What do you think?
Well, I mean, of course, because it's grown, right? I mean, it's just grown and a lot more cargo moving up and down the road with flashing lights around it. And you know, we put them on there to keep people alert and try to stay away from us. But unfortunately, in some cases, it's like a magnet. And you know, and they think it's big money and deep pockets, and it gives the attorneys just so much more to dig into, to do discovery on, and go after us. You know, they got so many more people to try to bring in, and you just named off, you know, numerous ones of them, you know, and they all learn from each other how to do that. So yeah, we're a big target.
Yeah. Now here's on the flip side, here's a positive I've seen just in my 20 years, where when I first started in this industry, the federal government, in fact, I got in trouble with your buddy Joel Dandria once because I was a little bit too outspoken about this. I didn't see the federal government getting involved at all, ever. And maybe that was a good thing in specialized transportation. But then they did the big automated permitting federal study that SCNRA was involved in. And now for the first time, David, the federal government, in their ongoing pursuit of maybe one day resolving the truck parking issue, they are doing this study now, which they've asked my company to assist them with, on the safety impacts of oversized, overweight truck parking. Never before had the federal government ventured down that territory. So take a moment, if you would, David, and just share with us from your perspective, the Bennett family's perspective on, how you all try to plan for truck parking of some of your enormous loads as you move around the country. Is it difficult?
Well, of course, it's difficult, but after, I don't know, over the years, you figure out, a lot of places where you can park, right? I mean, you do that in your route surveys, and your pre-trip, the inspections and stuff to figure out where you're going to park. And some of these loads, I mean, you might have been able to make an extra 100 miles or 200 miles that day if you was comfortable with wherever you landed, you had a place to park. But most of the time with these big loads, really the super loads, especially, you better stick with your plan and make sure that, you got the right place to park. Once it goes down from there, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of it's just guys out there with his escorts or himself, trying to figure it out at the end of the day. Getting a wide spot in a rest area or, on the scales, right? You see a lot of oversized,
Yeah.
overweight on the scales because most of the time they have the room. And I think for the most part, they'll let your oversized load park there also. And that works out all right with a guy that's got his escorts because he can, get to the hotel room or get him something to eat. But if not, guy's pretty well stuck. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, some states are very friendly to us in that respect, and others perhaps not, and maybe for good reason. And then the final news note, David, I wanted to run by you. And I'm not a proponent for or against load boards. I know everybody has their opinions. Some use them, some don't. But back to my theme, David, of gosh, just in the last decade, I'm actually seeing more focus, good or bad, on our industry. To my knowledge, David, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first major load board that I'm aware of. Truck Stop making this big announcement last week that they're launching a specific load board just for oversized freight. So not asking, well, you can give your opinion, David, if you want, about load boards in general. I know everybody has different opinions, but what do you think about a major load board venturing into our world for the first time?
I mean, I don't know. We don't mess with load boards that often. Sometimes you have to, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it works out good, I don't see a problem with it. It may be that, I'm posting some loads on there too. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I'm gonna go look at it, but
Yeah, yeah.
if there's one out there and maybe truck stops are one to do it and do it right, then why not? But doing it right is the thing. How do they keep the unscrupulous brokers out of there? I don't know that they can do that or they have a way to do it, but they're everywhere anyway. So I just encourage guys to be very careful. It don't matter if it's that oversized load board or truck stop or dad or whoever's it is. They better be,
Mhm.
careful because you can get you can get caught. Uh, you get caught in some bad stuff. Dealing with brokers that you're not familiar with, and uh, unfortunately, if a guy's out there having to get on a load board to find his loads especially for oversized, overweight, then man, he needs to do a little bit more research on people he can work with and count on.
Yeah, well said, well said. Well, let me get to some real questions for you here before we run out of time. Um, I've always been impressed by the whole family of companies and all, and for we've got a lot of newbies on our call here. Just take a minute, David, and give us kind of the 101 of the whole Bennett family of companies. And I particularly would like for you to talk a little bit about Boss and the success that Boss has had for you guys in Texas, and the late great David Cooley, what he did for you with Boss, and just tell us a little bit about the whole family and how you operate.
And that's a lot longer than a minute's worth. Uh, you know, 14 companies. I think it's something like 16, 18 operating entities in it. And uh, getting ready to add another one that'll probably be announced this week or next week. And I can't really say, but
Wow.
another pretty nice little deal that we've got cooking in the heavy haul side. But boss Crane, whenever Cooley and I somehow or another talked Mom into buying our first crane, we told her we just, we need to start with one. It wouldn't be a very big one, and it turned out to be a 550-ton Grove. Ray remembers that well. And I don't know, 40 some cranes later, here we are. And
By the way, congratulations on that and David Womack. You made a good choice there.
yeah, well, we're really excited to have Dave on the team.
You couldn't have picked a better guy.
And Thomas Baldry is leading the Boss Crane now. So, and them two guys work really well together, the Boss Heavy Haul and Boss Crane. And that had been a challenge. These crane guys are weird. They're, and I can say that because I'm a trucker that owns a crane company. But they think it just needs to go up and down, not sideways, right? And we like going sideways and being on.
They'd be out of business if it wasn't for the trucking people.
So, but Dave and Thomas work really well together, and we like that hook to hook business. So, but it's going real well. I mean, the big business, big freight business and crane business is actually looking pretty good. Even the wind, I mean, we thought, with our administration's take on wind that, that thing had some pretty short legs, but we see it going okay now for next, I don't know, probably a couple years anyway. And then, well, Boss Heavy Haul don't do a lot of wind unless it gets into the really big nacelles or something. But, Ace Dorn does a lot of wind, tires and blades and so forth, and they're just busy as they can be. And then, of course, Bennett does a lot of the nacelles and generators and hubs. So we like to try to pull that together with the crane operations, and it's been working out pretty well. So
David, sorry to interrupt, was the big family and the diversity of companies part of the plan going way back to day one, or did it just kind of happen? And if so, why did you go this direction with the diversity and such?
To me, all the way back from the 80s when I got into this, it's been how do we get one more load of freight for our trucks? All right. And you can go the traditional ways and go in general commodities and all that stuff, but it's not that much fun. I just put it that way. So all the way back from when we started international, most people would go into international moving containers and stuff like that. Well, whenever I started international, my whole focus was on break bulk and project work, and I didn't even know how to spell international real well. But that's what we did, and that's and it seems like everything that we've did along the way, no matter what direction we leaned into, was just that. How do we get another load of freight for our trucks, right? How do we pull all that together in a I used to say one call does it all, but it ain't. It's not that simple. It don't seem like, but that's how Crane come about. I was like, we're having to schedule cranes all the time, all over the place, and might as well just get into it and see where it goes. And it's it's been going all right. Been going all right. I don't know how much bigger we really want to get in that market. Cranes market's pretty saturated. It's kind of like trucking, but you get your niches, and that's kind of what we've tried to do is get into a niche, find a niche, and be really good at it. And get the right equipment to handle it for the customers, listen to the customers and their needs, and and just go for it.
Yeah.
But
You've
but
been,
hey,
you've been,
but I was just going to say, I can't leave my brother out. With driveway and the manufactured housing and the RVs,
yeah.
transport, the power onlys, and all that stuff. Them guys are going gangbusters.
Do you do some hazmat too, David, or not?
We do quite a bit, yes, with
Yeah.
the Department of Defense and the DOE.
With the government. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't know sometimes about Bennett, the footprint that you all have, with the federal government and defense and such. Very impressive. You've done a lot of mentoring over the years to a lot of youngsters, like myself. I'm not so young anymore, but besides David, showing up on time for important meetings, what's your typical go-to 2 or 3 things that you tell young folks or even not so young folks when they come to you for some mentorship on this crazy industry and surviving in it?
Oh man, I don't know. It's we're stretched like Stretch Armstrong, so many different directions. I think it kind of depends on where they're at and where they're going in, their career in this industry, because it could be in the 3PL, 4PL world and logistics, or, a brokerage, or maybe it's heavy haul or cranes, or there's a lot of different avenues, that a person could take. But at the end of the day, like I said, my heart's always been in trucking. So I'm just a trucker at heart. So it's just, and I tell them in the trucking side, whether it's in the log department or the billing or payroll or dispatch or customer service, any of them positions and them departments that would have an interaction with a driver, is that, they are our lifeline. So you have to stop and listen. Sometimes it's hard, you know, to be a good listener. Probably your wife probably tell you the same thing. Uh, I know mine does. The But you have to stop and listen, and and give respect. And I think regardless of what you do, and what your career is, it could be in the state permit department, anything. It's a respect, is giving respect, showing respect, and listening, and then doing what you say you're going to do, right? And whatever that is, it'll take you wherever you want to go. Keep your moral values intact and rock on.
Wow. Paul Ricard, who's our web guy and podcast guy. If you were listening there, Paul, that's a cut I want. David, simple, plain spoken. No, seriously, simple, plain spoken words there in the last minute or so of your comments. But my gosh, powerful, powerfully true. Thank you. I want to close out with your thoughts on organization near and dear to your heart and mind, the SCNRA. We've got a lot of folks in this roundtable that are not members of SCNRA, and I know you've had every position. Take a minute or two and tell us how you sell the SCNRA to new folks coming into this industry.
Oh man, I mean, if you're going to be in our industry, and even if you're playing around the edges of it, the SCRA is the avenue to be in. I don't know of a better one. There's other organizations out there, but there ain't nothing that holds a candle to us, and what we do, and the progress we've made to help prop up and support our industry over the years. It's just second to none. Most there, you got a lot of them out there. I don't want to throw no names out there, but they do concentrate on trucking and government affairs and everything, but they're not focused on us and what we do and our needs, and that's what the SCRA does. Um, and it's not just for trucking, right? It's cranes too. They do invaluable, uh, uh, have invaluable opportunities and programs for the cranes also. So, and if you want to meet your vendors and you have a relationship, with equipment that we utilize, and, that's the place to be. So looking forward to Birmingham. That's going to be fun. A little hop, skip, and a jump over here,
Yeah.
over there from me. So, we'll be over there and look forward to seeing everybody. And, we've got a busy year coming. It's of course, the SCRA meetings, that's always great, but we've gotten into truck shows pretty good. I love cool trucks
Mhm.
and building, nice trucks. And we had our second show last year here at Atlanta Motor Speedway called Stars, Stripes, and White Lines. And this year's looking to be even bigger, but we host the national championship, for the truck show circuit at our show. And if you hadn't been out to a truck show lately, I'd encourage to go out, support them guys out there that put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and very cool rides that run up and down the road. And, we got Matt's coming up, in Louisville. We're the sponsor of the concert again this year, and, we've got a cool lineup for that. Got Long Haul Paul, a guy named Mark Ware, which is a good friend of mine, and then another, guy, Frank Foster, headlining the concert. So all you got to do to come to Louisville to get your tickets is come see me. I get your tickets. Probably, if you say Steve Todd, I might even be able to get you into VIP.
Oh, good Lord.
Maybe.
Yeah, Judith, you're right. You're right on cue. You're kind of into this podcast thing, David. Judith from Indiana Permit Office was just asking about Matt, so maybe she'll
Well,
see you there.
If they can come
yeah.
see me, I'll take care of them the best I can.
We got time for one or two more questions from our group here. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you how that 21 car is going to do this year in Xfinity. Anybody question? Danny? Anybody?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. What? Because
right.
I was going to ask you a question, but I think you kind of gave us that. This industry, I have been very fortunate along the way to very early on learn a bit more about this industry. And something that has always struck me is that it stands really alone in the different activities that I've been involved in that you go to an SCNRA conference and you don't see a bunch of arguing and fighting. You got competitors in a highly competitive industry that actually get along. They actually share, they actually work together. And I think Mr. Lowry just gave us some of that secret sauce of how that happens. And it really is, David, from people like yourselves. I have so much respect for what you guys do and how you have put things together. And thank you for giving us some time here today.
Well, appreciate it, Dan. Good seeing you too. Sure.
Anybody else real quick? I don't think that was Danny Wells. I think that was Gandalf from that Wizard movie, I think. That's quite a beard he's got going there. Anybody else real quick for Mr. Lowry? All right. Well, how's Austin going to do this year?
Well, we usually make it to Phoenix, in the top 10. So I'm looking forward to that again for sure.
And he wins at your track almost every time.
Hey, we got it.
That's
aced
good for
over
the
here.
sponsor.
Yeah. I hope he does well. There's no reason why he shouldn't. I mean, that boy is on fire, and we picked up another season with him, and looking forward to it. I mean, it's fun. It's good for us. It gives us something to do. It's good marketing, and all that. But, hey, we like to have fun too. Ask Ray. We like to have fun while we're doing all this hard work. And that's one of the ways that we do it. We get to the racetracks and, hey, if it's a sponsored race, and it's friends and family, probably help you out with that too. We like to have,
Amen.
we like to have industry folks, you know, around us. And,
I tell you, Ray Morgan and I got to sit up on the, what was it, the third or fourth turn there, and those suites, those
Yeah, the
condos that
condos.
go over the racetrack.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
I'm
condos,
telling
yeah.
you, anybody and everybody, David just almost put the invitation out there. That is the most incredible experience to watch a race from those condos you'll
Yeah,
ever find.
yeah.
But anyway, we are out of time, David. It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to have you, my friend. Thank you so much.